Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Museum of the African Diaspora. I'm the Director of Public Programs, and MOAD is a contemporary art museum. Our exhibitions and programming inspire learning through the global lens of the African diaspora. Today, we are thrilled to be presenting Moving from Solidarity to Action, How to Set Our Tables for a Future of Collective Liberation, a program curated by MOAD's Chef-in-Residence Jocelyn Jackson. We bring you together for an intimate conversation about food as a uniquely powerful medium for collective resistance. Today we have with us Jocelyn Jackson, our chef-in-residence. She's an award-winning chef, artist, teacher, and activist. Ora Wise, Brooklyn-based event producer, community organizer, and chef. And Reem Assil, Palestinian-Syrian chef and activist. Please let us know where you're joining us from by typing it into the chat. We love to find the diaspora in our audience. And now I will turn it over to Jocelyn.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. We have a little, oh, there we go. We got it sorted. Thank you, first of all, for being on this technological journey with us. So grateful. And we invite you into the process with us as we make some mistakes, as we have some laughter. We just do the impromptu of what is needed in this moment. And just grateful that you made a big yes to joining us tonight. Like Elizabeth said, my name is Jocelyn Jackson. I am so grateful to be here with Ora and with Reem. It's one of those really powerful experiences of having an instinct for us to be connected and in solidarity in real life, even virtually, and have this impression of what we all know to be true, to be presented to our communities in as many ways as possible, as often as possible. And I feel like that's also what you all have said yes to this evening as well. I want to start by having Ora and Reem introduce themselves to you directly, and we'll start with Ora.
Well, first of all, thank you for gathering us here. It is, as we were just saying earlier, right on time. We need this fortification and connection, so thank you. I am an anti-Zionist Jew who I've been working in food, farming, hospitality, and food systems for a little over a decade. And I was born in Jerusalem, and so I had a whole journey of I would say unlearning Zionism and the colonial relationship to that land, and in that process of joining Palestinians in the struggle for liberation, finding my full humanity. And that is also a big reason why I'm here today with y'all, using food as a uniquely powerful vehicle for doing self and system transformation and for fortifying our movements for collective liberation. And so I'm excited to get into that today. And I think probably we'll talk a little bit more about how we started connecting later. But I'm based in Brooklyn, and I produce a pop-up called Queer Aperitivo. And also am a member of FIG, which is a grassroots collective of food, farm, and hospitality workers who do political education work and mutual aid work with queer and trans migrant and refugee folks in the city, and also are launching an apartheid-free zone campaign as a expanding and deepening of our ongoing boycott, divestment, and sanctions work in solidarity with Palestinians.
Thank you so much.
It's really an honor to be here.
Thank you for coming to the West Coast.
I mean, not a problem.
Hi, everybody. My name is Reem Assil, and I'm a Bay Area-based chef. Founder of a bakery and restaurant called Reem's California. We're an Arab street corner bakery and restaurant concept that's really inspired by the vibrancies of communities around Arab bakeries. And our mission really is to build community across cultures, across experiences, generations, through the warmth of Arab bread and hospitality. My community building work extends far before my culinary career. I came into food about 15 years ago almost. It's crazy to think that now I've been in food for 15 years, but prior to that, I was, you know, whatever that means, I was paid to organize, which is like a crazy thing in
Right.
this country that
Right.
you could be paid to knock on doors and
Mhm.
connect with people and have tea with them and
Mhm.
learn about their issues and how they're going to change the conditions of their reality. But
Mhm.
I like to say that my job always has been either pre-culinary or
Yeah.
post to help people find a voice, whether it's in their jobs or in their neighborhoods, to be able to really have control over their own destiny and to
Yeah.
be able to stand in their dignity, whatever it is that they choose to do with their lives. And so that's been my lifelong mission.
Mhm.
It's in my blood as a child of immigrants. I grew up in a Palestinian-Syrian home, and the culture was very deep. And we say, being Palestinian, being in diaspora from the womb, you're like, you see injustice, and yeah, really gravitated towards social justice work because I saw my struggle as somebody who was estranged from my roots in other communities and struggle here in the US. And so I've been a longtime Palestinian activist. I'm also a member of the Arab Resource and Organizing Center, which for local folks is really an organization that builds power and through economic and racial justice here in the Bay Area for Arabs from here to the homeland. Right? It's all very interconnected. We understand that the liberation of our people back home is interconnected with the liberation of people here locally. And so my work is really grounded in solidarity with the global systems, but by doing the local work. And that's very much kind of how I came to food, but also how I approach organizing is that, you know, starting with your community, and that is very intersectional. So
Truly.
yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. We all need to hear that, the context of you and the journey that is coming into a reality of how you need to show up in the world. And so much of this evening is offering that invitation to everyone, offering an opportunity for people to tell us their story of how that's happened. We want to be in a place where the invitation to be radically aware of what's in the world is an easeful thing for us to take on. And that's really some of the spirit behind us having this experience tonight is, you know, I need to be really clear. We're going to do something really beautiful this evening together. We're going to interact with these heartfelt, cultivated seeds from folks that are in El Sobrante. We're going to be able to enjoy many of these ingredients that are so beautifully produced and cultivated often in Palestine, but not now, right? Not now. And so I need to lay clear at the beginning of this that according to the ICC, the ICJ, the UN, there's an active genocide happening right now, and that is intolerable.
And the global community around the world, which
And the
also
global community
has
around the world.
the most legitimacy to see truth.
Exactly that.
Not just
exactly that.
the colonial institutions.
Thank you for naming it.
Even
Thank you for naming it. Yes. Thank you for naming it. I use it as a context for people to understand as far as validating, but really, let's listen to the global majority.
Yeah.
And the insistence of the truth, right?
Yeah.
In this moment. So thank you for putting that point on it. That's the lived reality that we need to hear and adjust our reality to. It is intolerable that this is something that's happened for a year, let alone over 70 years.
Yeah.
And this is a moment in time for us to say these things out loud in a way that's on purpose so that we can find deeper ways of recommitting to what we do every single day in this reality. That's our responsibility. That's our ability to strike against complicity. And so this is an opportunity for us to be in the abundant beauty of what is Palestinian culture. It's also an opportunity for us to see the intersections and the solidarity amongst all of these lived realities of, in many spaces, we see the moments of colonization, of
Mhm.
oppression, all these things. And we also see how we absolutely feel this truth that if it happens to someone else, it's happening to me. And that is the way that we wake up each day
Mhm.
and enter into each day. What can I do today that acknowledges that reality and gives even more power to the fact that we need to always be walking with the intention of what's being accepted by our societies presently is unacceptable.
Mhm.
We want to tell you that story through food in many ways this evening. We want to tell you this story through these ingredients. We want to tell you these stories through the fact that, earlier today we were in the farmer's market together, buying these ingredients together. We were in the kitchen at Reem's preparing this meal. We had these moments of what's really a privilege of intimacy around food. And we hope that's reflected in this experience for you as well. Because the power of that, it just matters. It just really matters. I would love to be able to introduce what we're doing this evening to everyone. We had the grace of a beautiful designer named Kamakshi Duhuru, who designed a zine for us. And this zine includes this menu and ingredients and recipes.
This
But it
is what it
also-
looks like when you print it out, but you all got this digitally,
Yes.
which also amazing designs.
I want to
from-
acknowledge Monica and Walid are the folks behind exactly Shrine. And they did these beautiful prints that we were able to get to use in this zine and be part of the storytelling also. And we want to start by telling you what we're doing this evening and invite you into the process. So there'll be a little bit of interplay between myself and Elizabeth as we're going through the evening. We want to get your input from the chat. I can see Elizabeth right now doing all this work of seeing where's everything and how can we bring it into the space. So thank you for being here with us as we navigate what it is to make this dish that is an incredible representation of the forever life of a people.
And we were gonna talk, maybe
Please do.
start with how
Yeah.
we first started
Exactly.
organizing together.
Exactly.
Through and around food, which is also kind of how we
Perfect.
ended up here. So Reem kind of put out a call to a few of us comrades last October, and that was what led to us forming Hospitality for Humanity. And we were thinking about the trajectory to this moment. And one thing I want to name is that in the face of Holocaust and and amidst such a nightmare that we're fighting so hard to stop, and they are refusing, the powers that be, we can also actually take a bit of comfort that from the fact that the relationships and the organizing we've been doing for years and years and years have allowed us to mobilize together in this moment. And so the first time that Reem and I came together to do this kind of movement building work through celebrating and learning about and from Palestinian food culture and food traditions was many years, 2017. I was working with the Palestinian Academic and Cultural Boycott Committee globally, and they were asking me to help mobilize to try to get the New York-based chef who was participating in Israel roundtables, this American Express funded and Israeli government funded gastro diplomacy festival in Tel Aviv, one of many, many, highly resourced, funded Israeli PR culture washing campaigns.
And to say that, I mean, they put millions of dollars, which just goes to show how powerful also the cultural boycott movement was at that time.
Yeah, and how powerful culture is.
Yeah.
And we could say this tiny, we could claim this tiny victory, which is that, so they now no longer, they canceled that festival.
Exactly.
After, I think we did one more year of it, but so basically we came together with
Incredible.
another Palestinian woman chef, Imani Ahmed, and all of our comrades through FIG in New York City, and hosted the asymmetrical table in opposition to Israel roundtable, right? So talking about the power imbalances and the extractive and exploitative and destructive power dynamics that very much show up in Israeli cuisine, right? And so we decided, instead of to like protest at the restaurant of the chef that was participating, to build a table and invite all of these colleagues in and create this delicious, inviting, welcoming place, and invited Black and Indigenous and Latinx and immigrant comrades who were also working towards, decolonizing their lands and cultures to come. And it was a major moment in, restaurants in downtown Manhattan, where we were shifting the culture and we were breaking the silence and pushing back on the historic silencing and censoring of Palestinians and their allies. And it was a really healing and powerful. We both had this experience of like, wow, we are so often faced with such vitriol and violent repression and unfortunately, and being censored and pushed aside and gaslit and all these things. And this was it. Wow, Palestinian liberation organizing can be so beautiful and nourishing.
But I think what was really, I mean, the first time we did it, because we had 2 rounds of protesting these roundtables, but that first one, what was really apparent to us, very much like the moment we're in now, unfortunately, is that there's a real fragmentation of our movements, right? And so it was a fresh perspective to be able to both invite those who are engaged in that really important community political organizing, but see culture work as kind of a side thing. Food sovereignty is that work over there, and this is like the political. For them to see that, and then for the cultural work to see itself as embedded within a bigger liberation struggle. And so you had these multiple communities intersecting over, I mean, an amazing menu. And that was just, I think we built from that. But it was a moment also where we were bringing in people who really, like, from the chef community, who didn't really know much about what was happening in Palestine.
But we're instinctively in, critical thinking and open-minded.
Right.
So.
And so by the second year, like the following year, we were actually able to get another New York chef to pull out. We got a petition.
Our campaign was successful because all those people signed an open letter.
And they were pretty prominent folks. And in the same light, in October, when we put out a call to our community, the petition to, and we took a really, really strong stance. I mean, at that point, I was devastated at that point. I had like lost over 10 members of my family. And so we were in crisis. We were like, we just need to get something out. It needs to be strong. And now it's crazy to think a year later, I've lost quadruple that, and, but in that first month, even with the death toll, which we thought we would never be able to accept 10,000. But
let alone over 200,000.
Exactly. But that we had over 1,000 people who signed that petition within the first week.
And they still are. The pledge is still on the site to sign.
And so I feel like that was a culmination of the work that we've done over the last to move the needle. Unfortunately, not enough, right? I think why we wanted to do this is like, it's important to have these nourishing moments, but we need to, what happens here to galvanize us in our heart to move beyond just feeling connected and good to actually
Yes.
feeling angry enough to take action, right?
And clear enough.
And clear enough,
Mhm.
right?
Because that's what I hear in your
yeah.
conversation about these folks that were like, I don't actually know where I'm standing. And now that I have information, I know, I'm
Yeah.
clear, I can take action.
Yeah,
It's
and
so important.
solid enough and feeling grounded enough that
Mhm.
like we are in community and we have each other's backs, because it's not gonna be,
Yeah.
it will absolutely not be easy
Mhm.
to take action, particularly now. I mean, if we're seeing what's happening there, we've
Yeah,
pushed, I mean, we're willing to accept that, right? So it's coming.
yeah.
It's coming for us, and we're at this really, really unique inflection point of
Mhm.
history
Mhm.
where the stakes are just so high that this is beyond,
There aren't red lines anymore.
no, no.
Mhm.
There's